Hey everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nyssa. If you're new here, we are a large family living off-grid in Australia. It is Friday and Mum and I have come down to do the groceries. So we drove down at about 10 o'clock this morning and then we hit the shopping centre. So last time we came, we stayed at the motel and there was issues with cold stuff and things like that. After that, I got All Powers reached out to me and they offered me one of their solar generator, their power generators to show off on the channel and to use. So we accepted one of those so that we could set up a fridge for this trip. Now, we didn't get the fridge until we got here. So there's still a little bit of, juggling to go, because where the fridge is going to have to fit the length of the cord to be plugged into the power generator, we're going to need an extension cord to make that more efficient. So for this trip, we're going to just make it work. So we went into Browse Plants and we've been to Coles and Woolworths. We've got a trolley and a half full of stuff here that we need to get into the trailer. Now the trailer at the moment, let me get it open first, is empty. We haven't started filling it, so all the underneath is empty, but we picked up the fridge. I got a 60-litre fridge on special. The power, we've got the solar panels for the power generator, though I believe that we should be able to get an entire 2 days of the fridge off the unit. We've already charged it. So let me rearrange. So this is the All Powers unit. It's the 2500 unit, 2500 watt max. It works out to be about 150 amp hour battery within there, 19-20 watt hours I think it is. I'll put all the specs up on the screen and I will also put a whole bunch of information down in the description. But this is what the unit looks like. To run the fridge for the full 2 to 3 days, we're going to run it on DC. We're going to run it on 12 volt power because that way the inverter isn't running. So if you're running the inverter, so if I wanted to run it through a standard port, a standard 240 volt port, then it would run the inverter the whole time to go from 12 volt, which is what the batteries are, to the 240 volt. And it would take 30 to 40 hours per hour of battery it would use to run the inverter. So running things off our 12 volt will be the most successful. So we have a cord here to run the fridge directly 12 volt. The Anderson plug goes into the fridge and the 12 volt cigarette lighter port goes into here. But that's the length of it. So we're going to need to get an extension for it, but that's fine. So we're going to test this out, but because of the size of the fridge and that this has to be in a specific place to reach that cord, we're going to have to fill the bottom of this trailer before we can turn it on. So we're going to get all the Coles and Woolworths groceries into the bottom of the trailer. And then once we've done that and we've filled this, we've got Aldi to go as well, then we will put the lid back on and then we will set these up with the containers around it and everything else so that this is in the most optimal position that the fridge can be plugged into the All Powers unit and can run for the whole time. So we are lucky the Airbnb that we're staying at does have a full-size fridge freezer, so we'll take everything inside if we need to start with, and then that will be it, and we'll have a good ability to test about how much we can actually fit in the 60-litre drawer. But I didn't worry about the quantity I was buying this time because we've got that fridge freezer to put everything in and then to put in the eskies tomorrow if need be. But we may not always have that. So this is why we went for the 60-litre fridge and we got the larger one of these All Powers. So I'm going to get everything packed into underneath and then I'll come back. All right, so it is 5:10 and we've finished Aldi, so we're just finishing throwing everything in. We've filled the bottom up. Now I'm going to put the lid on this spot and we'll put everything else in a container and then we'll rearrange so that we can get this fridge plugged in and chilling. It did come with a temperature gauge, so I can put a wireless temperature gauge in the fridge and make sure that everything is working as it needs to without actually having eyes on it, which will be great. And then we might set the solar panels up in the morning if we need to, but otherwise we might just set them up once we get home to keep everything cold while we're unpacking everything. All right, so we've got the All Powers unit on. Screen shows me that it's 100% because Darryl purposely got that all charged up for me at home off the solar panels. And then we've got our connector for the fridge. So we're going to plug it into this one. And as I said, we're going to use 12 volts so that we don't have any issues with the inverter chewing power. And then we're going to try plugging it into the back of the fridge. All right, so at the moment we've got it plugged in. It's saying there's 36 watts going out. So let's let it sit for the drive to our accommodation, and then we will assess it. So I might put the, it says it's 23 degrees in it at the moment, so I don't want to put anything in it at the moment. So I'm going to put this stuff in the esky that we've got here, and then when we get there we'll see what it says on the screen and see what sort of power it's pulled, and we'll go from there. But this is where it's going to have to sit at the moment until we sort it out. So I'm just going to strap this in, put a container around to get the rest of the groceries in, and then we're going to go and find our accommodation. Alrighty, it is 10 a.m. and we've hit Costco. We've already done the fruit and veg. I'll show that to you in a sec, but we've got it covered by netting. But we're just getting everything sorted before we go into Costco. So we stopped in and we bought an extension cord for the all power unit. So now we've got the 12 volt through to an extension Anderson cord. This is a 6 meter extension cord, so that we could rearrange the layout to make it better so that we could see the screen. So we came here thinking we were going to have to set up the solar panels, but this is still on 90%. So it has run the fridge all night. It says on the little wireless gauge that it's 5 degrees in the fridge at the moment, which is fine because there's only cheese and noodles and stuff like that in it. Next run we will try it freezing. We did put all the freezer stuff in the freezer that we had available, so we didn't use it, but next time we will run it with the freezer. We just weren't sure how this unit was going to perform, but it has said 90%, so it's got plenty of time on it. It says it has about 1 day left on it if it's doing the 37 watt. We've just dropped the temperature on the fridge, but 1 day is fine because we only have another, like 6 hours to go. So we could set up the solar panels. The idea was that we have these little vents here and we were going to run the cables through. The thought was that we could run the solar panel over the back of the unit here. So if you have a look in here, you can see that all our fruit and veg is under these shade cloth things here, and we thought if we folded the solar panel out, so this is a really large, this is the solar panel that comes with the unit, and it is 4 wide, so it is very large. 4 of these panels, a 400 watt set of units, so 100 watts per panel, and 4 of them are in this fold out unit. We were going to unfold it all on the back of the ute, run the solar cabling, has a cord that attaches to this that runs straight into the, let me show you, this cord here has the solar plugs on the bottom and then a connection that goes straight into the all powers unit. So we just hook these together. We might need slightly longer ones if we're going to plan to do that, have this on the back of the ute while we're parked to go through, feed through there. They are a bit large for the top of the trailer, because that was the plan originally, was we're going to put them on the top of the trailer, but they are a little wide for that. But that means that we get the full power, like 400 watts is going to charge that unit up really quick. So we're grateful for the size of the wattage of the panels, but they won't fit on the top of the little trailer. It's just a little too narrow. But they would fold out on top of the ute here, which would mean that it was protecting the fruit and veg underneath, and then run through those little vents there into the trailer to charge the all powers unit. We're not going to stuff around with it now because I think I need an extension on this, which is fine. We have plenty of this sort of solar cords at home, so we can create an extension for that. But next time we're going to run the fridge on freezing temperatures, and we'll see if that makes a difference on the usage, and this might become more of a necessity for that. All right, cameras in the car and we're all packed up. It is, what time is it? It is 1:20. So we've got the trailer packed up. I've checked the all powers unit is doing fantastically. It says that it has 87% left, 23 days apparently to go. And though the fridge isn't running. Why is the fridge not running? There we go. Lucky I came in to check because it wasn't plugged in properly. So less than 23 days obviously, but now it's running. I must have knocked that out when we were filling this. Doesn't have an output of power going though. Let's wait and see this kick in. This has got power lit up, so it's definitely drawing power. It just hasn't, the screen here hasn't caught up, I don't think. I'll have to double check that. We'll stop to get fuel, and I'll double check that this is actually running then, but it appears to be. It says it's got the power outlet in it. The fridge is turned on, so we'll see. And we've got the rest of the car all piled up, a couple of nets over it, everything in there. We do have the back seat fairly full today as well. A pile of stuff, bits and pieces in there. We got Sonic sleep suits for the boys on sale, but the back seat's pretty piled up too. My side as well, piled up for the trip home. All right, 4:55 and we were home. So the unit is still on 84%. So that is fantastic. It's saying 23 hours is all it's got left of use, but that's because we jumped the temperature down a little bit too, and then driving in the sun and everything else, but that still would have kept us going well and truly for the time that we needed. Though I will see about putting it on freezer mode next time and see how much that pulls and how long that takes as well. And we'll try with the frozen stuff. But this has been fantastic. So we will also use this to be able to put the larger pump in to transfer water to Mum's place. So when we do that, I'll show you how we do that as well. But yeah, for the moment, this purpose for this is great. We're going to have to rearrange things a little bit in here to figure out exactly what's going to work best. But with this amount of usage too, it's possible I could probably stack 2 of these fridges in here if that's what I wanted. So we'll have to assess that as we go, but very happy with the All Powers unit for this purpose. All right, we've got table 1. We're going to have quite a few tables today. It felt like it was a fairly big shop. I don't know if it was, but it felt like it was. I did go light on the shop last month because I was a bit concerned about where we were putting stuff and everything else. So maybe I've had to make up a little bit. I'm not sure. All right, we'll start. We've got some non-food items here. These Kate Spade tea towels are lovely and thick, and they were on special at Costco, so I decided to grab a 6-pack of those. We've got some pads for those who need them. Some toothbrushes. There was another packet of these as well. I bought 2 packets, but I opened one when I was there because I didn't take a toothbrush with me. So 2 packets of toothbrushes. These were half price at, I think it was Coles or Woolworths, so they were a really good price. Some Band-Aids as needed. High Smile was full price. I won't pay full price for toothpaste, so I bought the Grant stuff, which we like as well, has no SLS, and is only about $4 for a tube. Needed AA batteries, apparently. Some deodorant. This Nivea roll-on deodorant was half price, so I think it's only $2.75 each, so I just grabbed a few varieties of it so that we can have it scattered in the bathrooms and stuff. Dish detergent. There is 4 each of each scent: green tea and lime and lemongrass and ginger. Just that those are the only 2 that are sitting there for some reason. And Mum's palm olive. I got these smaller bin liners for some of the smaller bins that we use, like the bins in the bathroom and things like that, to use for those. This giant 50-pack of plastic containers and lids is actually for the school. I'm going to take that to work. But I got that in this order. They were $5 off. They were very cheap, so they're good. They use them for collage stuff and also for leftover food and stuff when they're doing class lunches and that. We've got a couple of different face scrubs for the teenagers. We've got some cranberry tablets for one of the teenagers, some shampoo, conditioner, a couple of each just to go on the shelf, and the anti-dandruff one. We use this OC Naturals because it has no SLS, so we don't have to worry about that. Other non-garbage bags, the normal standard big garbage bags. I've got 3 boxes of the cat food, 48 sachets in each one. We use 2 to 3 a day, so between the 5 cats. So this will do us for 8 weeks if needed. And this was a Bunnings purchase, but we needed a 15 amp cord for the kitchen. Other stuff here, we have some normal just Skippy peanut butter. I think we've still got 2 on the shelf, but I like to grab an extra one just to have it there. It's not going to go bad. I did buy myself another one of the grilled mayos. These are really nice. I need to figure out what the herbs are that they use in them because I really enjoy it. A baking powder as well to go on the shelf, and Mum's Kraft or Bega, whatever, peanut butter is her favorite, so she grabbed that one as well. We just did it all together and we work it out later. I grabbed the kids a couple of boxes of the mini ice cream cones that they use with the ice cream they make from the Ninja Creamy, and a box of the 78 favorites chips for them to share over the next couple of weeks. 2 boxes of the Mugu. One is for me and one is for Mum. The lychee drink, we both like that. And we found this on sale at Costco as well that Mum's going to install at her front door, so that when she's walking home in the dark from here to her place, something lights up. She also bought this vitamin water. There was sampling of it. Samples are always dangerous. Sampling of these and they're really pleasant tasting. And just as an alternative to water, these are something like only like 80 calories a bottle too. So she was happy with that. It tastes nice, and it's your daily needs of vitamin C in one bottle, which is beneficial for someone who doesn't eat a lot of fruit or anything. And I do all her cooking, so she does eat veggies, but you know. We have some pasta. I have the egg pasta. These only come in 250 gram packets, which is vaguely unfortunate. I think there's 6 of them. I think there's another 3 of them somewhere. So we use 2 to 3 per meal, depending on what the meal is. I'd run out of macaroni curls. I like these particular curls, this size of them. So I got half a dozen of those because we had none left. And a couple of the penne to put in the buckets as well. We had plenty of straight spaghetti, so we didn't need any of that. I grabbed half a dozen of the 1 litre olive oils from Aldi. I still have 2 3-litre ones of the Kirkland ones. They're both much of a muchness in price at the moment, and the 1 litre bottles are just really convenient to use. So I grabbed some of those to go along with the 3-litre ones. A couple of apple juices for the child that requires them for medication, and a bunch of the sugar-free cordials. There's half a dozen varied flavours there. We use that with the Soda Stream. We apparently have a cat to share. Now, a ginger man. A couple of malt vinegars because I need to make more Worcestershire soon, so I bought those to put on the shelf to do the Worcestershire with, and a maple syrup. I'm pretty sure we've still got 2 on the shelf, but again, it's something that I buy 1 of every time because it's not going to go bad. It'll just sit on the shelf. A few arborio rice. We were just short on it, so there's 3 packets of that. And some pearl barley. We had used up the last of the pearl barley when we did the bolognese last, so I like to have that as well. These raisins were on special at Aldi, I think, and Orpheus in particular really likes raisin sultanas type thing, so I bought that. And this was just a new sour mix lolly pack that I bought for the kids to share. It was just something different for them to try. I did end up buying the chocolate brownie mix. Now, I've made this a few times over the years. There is 6 packs in here, and it's about $37 for this box. But when you look at the cost of chocolate chips at the moment, it's actually not too bad. So 6 big slabs of brownie for the $36. It's only $6 a slab. It's not bad. And the kids have really been enjoying using packet mixes to make things, not just the instructions that I leave them for things. So I decided to grab that this month. I got these. These are something new. I hadn't seen them before for the kids. Veggie rings, Aussie barbecue, just something for them to try. We have 3 of the packets of the UHT coconut milks. This is what the kids use in their hot drinks, in the older kids in coffee or in hot chocolate and things like that. I got a 12 pack of the Coles coconut creams, except it looks like a coconut milk instead of cream. I did think the packaging looked funny. Anyway, it'll be fine. It'll work. I got 3 of the 6 packs of 1 litre Aldi milks. Now, I did look at the price. They're $1.85 per litre, which is the same as what it is at Coles and Woolworths. But Coles and Woolworths are loose, and Aldi is in a box, which is why I went with the Aldi ones. But I actually checked today, and the Devondale stuff at Costco is also $1.85 a litre and comes in boxes of 10. So that would be more convenient again. So I might do that next time. And then we got sour cream and chive rice cakes for the kids to try. We bought the cheese ones last time that they really liked, and of course that meant that they didn't have them this time. A big jar of pickles. The pickles that I bought at Costco recently I haven't really liked, so I bought this one instead to try. I really like the jar, so you know, we'll win with that regardless. A couple of the big jars of ABC or sweet soy or ketchup minis. One is Mum's and one is ours. Some of the peanut oil. I like it in this 750ml bottle because that's how I make the chili oil. I did buy the 4 litre peanut oil from Costco last time, but pouring it out into the 750ml lots was inconvenient. I also grabbed 10 kilos of raw sugar. The raw sugar comes in paper packaging now, which is neither here nor there in general, except that I just have to be aware of that when I'm packing it in the car, that it's no longer in plastic. I grabbed a bag of the slivered almonds because we use these for granola, so I wanted to replace the ones I'd used, and a bag of almond flour, similar sort of a deal. I did buy some roasted and salted cashews. The kids just like to snack on those. And 2 bags of peanuts for use with the chili oil. Mum and I did pick up this pistachio and hazelnut filled French beignets, but we were going to try them on the car on the way home and we didn't, but that's to share. So we'll send some up to mum and then the kids and everyone else will eat the rest. I bought them a box of just raspberry soft drink, just as something, as a treat. There's a 12-pack flat here of corn. I did look for Dr. Pepper because that's what Apollo really liked last time and the kids all enjoyed, but they didn't have it. So I just grabbed this one, 12-pack of corn, and then there's some Coke Zero and Coke, Vanilla Coke Zero there as well. That is for Darryl and I. That was half price. I also bought a 25 kilo of baker's flour, and they have wholemeal flour now. So I grabbed a 12.5 kilo bag of this. It was about $1 a kilo is what it works out as. Like it was $12 something for the 12.5 kilo bag. I can't remember exactly. I'll see if I can put it up on the screen. But it wasn't a bad price for wholemeal flour. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try adding some of that into my white flour. And see if I can get some good results out of it. So that was the first table. Table number 2, we have lost most of the light, and the lighting just here, we haven't established the right kind. So I'm using my phone to light things up. Hopefully it will work. We have... I bought a bunch of the boneless butterfly chickens from Aldi. I bought 6 of them, I think. 3 of the mango, 3 of the Greek one. We did have one of these for dinner last night though, because we just didn't have a whole lot of choice in the Airbnb of what we were doing for food. So we cooked one of these up in the air fryer for dinner last night. So there's 5 of those here. I got some middle bacon from Woolworths because I wasn't sure if there'd be any specials on bacon, etc. So, you know, it goes in the freezer and it'll be fine. I got the kids some of the pre-made ravioli because they actually quite like that, and it gives them something really easy that they can prepare for a lunch or a dinner without any input from me. It goes in the freezer so it lasts indefinitely. Some of the Italian style salami that we really like. I then got, because I went into Woolworths looking for the chow mein noodles, which are here, though there is a second packet of these somewhere as well. So I got 2 of the chow mein noodles to do chow mein stir fry. Oh, here's the other bag. To do chow mein stir fry in the first sort of week, like I normally do. But they had some of the flat rice noodles as well in the same section, and I grabbed these. Now, we really liked them when I got them to work, but they were a little bit challenging to get to separate and then cook off, but I decided to give them another go. Mum picked up these popcorn, double crunch popcorn prawns from Costco to give a go for things like when I'm at work. I don't always get lunch sent up to her or anything, so she has the option to make herself lunch or dinner at any time that she wants. Some of the maple streaky bacon that I really like to have like as BLTs and stuff. It doesn't last very long, but it's tasty. I got some of the Hidden Valley Parmesan. Now, I really liked this the first time I bought it, but it was shaved, not shredded. The shredded isn't as nice, but it still works for melting into things. But I did find that Woolworths sells shaved Parmesan. Australian shaved Parmesan. So I grabbed a few of those as well. Again, they can go in the freezer, so if they don't get used straight away, it's not a big deal. I was talking to Andrea about options for sous vide, and one of the things we discussed was steak. Now, I bought a steak, I'll show it to you, and I was looking at the steak at Costco. They have a really nice rib fillet, $45 a kilo, 120-day grain fed, really nice looking rib fillet. But the size, it ends up being $200 for a roll because that's the size they sell. The chuck is only $19.99 a kilo if you buy it whole. It's $22.99 a kilo if you buy it sliced. But I was thinking that if I'm sous videing the steak, chuck is a really tasty meat. And if I'm sous videing it, then I might not need the really high-end steak to do that. So I grabbed just 1 tray of these to give these a go in the sous vide, and then we'll know and we can make a decision. Something new that I found at Costco was this cafe style middle bacon. It only works out to be at $10.20 a kilo, so it is a really good price. So again, more bacon can't hurt. Some dumpling pastry to make some pork dumplings up. I grabbed 2 whole chickens just because we've been really enjoying the whole chickens we've been eating lately that I got a while back. But they're little tiny 1.5 kilo ones. These are full-size ones. We'll do something with those. A bag of chocolate chips. Just a tub of yogurt for the kids to eat until I get back into the rhythm of making more. 6 of the 1 kilo Kirkland grass-fed butters. This is a really nice butter. I do hate that they now have the 1 kilo blocks instead of the little 4 sticks in a box, but we make it work. I saw this and just decided that I really wanted to try it, so I grabbed it. This is Mum's margarine, and I got some of the Nuttall buttery for the kids as well. We got half a dozen of the frozen vegetable mix that I really like. The butcher had these bags of just over a kilo of sliced shaved leg ham for $10. So I grabbed those. They can always go in the freezer to be used in like the sliders or the scrolls and stuff as well. So I grabbed those because $10 a kilo is a good price. Well, it ends up being $10 for more than a kilo, but approximately a kilo. They also had this on special. It was a pastrami, so a pre-cooked cold meat that I thought Darryl might like to slice some up. It was half price, so I grabbed that. I grabbed the hot dog sausages that I always buy for hot dogs for the night of groceries, because that's what we do. And some of the grana padano, which I really enjoy putting a little bit into cheese sauces and stuff. The flavour just works really well. I did grab some of these leg hams that are the individually portioned ones as well. They can go in the bottom of the fridge. Use by us until the 23rd of September. We'll go through some of the cheap stuff that's in the big bags first, but this can be for later on in the month. I grabbed a few of the thickened creams. They are much cheaper to buy at Costco at this size, but obviously we can only buy a few of them because we have to use them before they are out of date. A couple of the bags of pizza cheese, a block of the cream cheese. So it is 6 of the 250 gram blocks. I got 8 of the blocked cheddar cheese from Coles that we really like and really missed last month because we bought the Costco stuff and it just is not as nice. This is the rib fillet that I bought. So $34.99 a kilo. And it's fine, but the rib fillet at Costco is better, but it's $45 a kilo, so $10 a kilo extra. I'm just not sure what I want to do, but that's the one that we bought this trip. And pork belly was on special for $12.99 a kilo at the butcher as well, which is cheaper than Costco runs it at the moment. So I grabbed a big one of those. I grabbed a couple of the dark chocolate and white chocolate baking chips in the Cadbury brand because they were on special. And sometimes it's nice just to have this little packet to just throw into something. I grabbed both Woolworths and Coles cottage cheese. I didn't realise. I just grabbed 2 from each place, but we will use them. I'll make lots more of those egg bites and things. And a couple of the sour creams. I've been buying Costco sour cream, but it's too big. We don't use it and it goes off. So I'm better off with smaller containers of it. I did buy 3 of the boxes of the Kranskis that we really like. These are a really good price. 3 400 gram packs. So it's 3 packs of 4 sausages and it's about $13, $14. I got 3 of the rolled pork roasts, all about the $50 to $60 mark for those. Just 3 of those because we use them for everything. And the butcher had shredded bacon on special for $4.99 a kilo in these sort of 2 kilo bags. I bought 4 of those and I'm going to split that up and I'm just going to freeze it. And then I've got shredded bacon to use, or I might cook some before freezing it, whichever way. And then I've got shredded bacon to use for many myriads of things, and a lot cheaper than cutting up middle bacon for it. I grabbed 4 of the trays of chicken thighs and 4 of the trays of chicken breast. The chicken breasts were $9.99 a kilo and the thighs were $11.79 a kilo this trip. This is also Mum's. Happened to see it. She's going to try it. These prawn donuts and her box of 4 and 20 pies that she likes to have in the freezer to use whenever she wants to use them as well. So that is the second table worth. Next table, we are definitely having, we're not mixed, everything's a bit mixed up. All right, so I got some of the dishwashing gloves from Costco. I got 2 of our laundry detergents that I buy. Sesame oil was $5 off the tin. We still have an unopened one, I think, but I grabbed it because it was $5 off and we use it. Some yard work gloves, the Swedish dishcloths, the Wedex dishcloths. I got 2 of these. I don't know where the other one is, but there's 2 of these somewhere. There's nappy sand from Aldi and the goat's milk soap from Aldi. We got 3 of those. Some toothpicks, scouring pads. Mum grabbed these mini banana breads to have on her desk for while she's working, and these honey soy chicken chips are hers as well. I grabbed the protein bars for Darryl, the little mini milks are mum's as well. She uses those for whatever she needs. She just doesn't need litre ones, so she likes those ones. I grabbed one of these. They were just on clearance somewhere. I don't know where it was, but I grabbed that for Darryl. I had some glass credits to spend, so I got these little containers for free. They will work well for when I'm sending sauces and stuff up to mum so that she has it separate to the food that she's eating, so I thought I'd grab those. This was something we've never seen before. It's a glass maple syrup bottle with a swing lid. One of our relatives, we buy maple syrup for birthdays and Christmas, just the normal bottles. And I saw this and thought that mum should grab it now to give him for his birthday or Christmas. His birthday's in December and it's Christmas obviously is in December as well, but we'll hold on to it. I thought that was just a neat gift. Half a dozen of the low carb wraps from it was Coles or Woolworths, had them $1.40 off or something, so I got half a dozen packs of those. Some of the udon noodles that are shelf stable that we use regularly. I saw these at Aldi and thought these would be really good for work for me to be taking the bits and pieces that I put on like toasted sandwiches and stuff that I don't make in advance. And I needed just some basic normal potato peelers. I got 3 bags of the Chef's World noodles that I buy for the kids. They use these for their instant noodles / ramen that they do. A bag of the protein chips for Darryl that work out a whole lot cheaper per 100 at Costco than they do anywhere else. A couple of packets of my favorite flavor and a whole bunch of packets of the Doritos hint of chili and lime that the kids really like, with salsa, with nachos, with whatever. They just really like those ones, so I grabbed those. Half a dozen coffee beans. I grabbed some from Aldi and some from Costco. This one I know I like from Costco. This one was on sale. I didn't like the espresso ones that I got from this, but this is the smooth blend, so I thought I'd give them a go as well. The fruit bread, mum buys this just about every time, and you have to get 2 loaves at a time when you buy it. And last time I bought it, the boys all asked if it was theirs, and it was mum's. So I grabbed a loaf for her, a loaf for the boys to have. Some of the dehydrated veggies that we always buy, just the standard veggies, the tempura ones, and then I spotted these, and mum and I thought we would get these to try as well. It's kind of nice. A lot of this stuff mum would buy for herself and take home, and then she'd keep a couple for me for next time I came to try, but we'll get to try them together with the fact that she's just here. I saw this fried garlic pieces. I loved the fried garlic that I used to buy from the Asian store, and I just haven't been there to get it. So I saw this and it wasn't a bad price. I think it might have been $3 for the container, so I grabbed that. A few of the Italian tomato paste from Coles, and just some of the peaches in syrup that the kids really like to eat as a snack. They were on special, so I grabbed them for them. A 3-pack of the ketchup that we buy, just 1 3-pack every shopping trip, and we use that for hot dog night and things like that. A dozen of the cheese rice crackers and a dozen of the original rice crackers, and just half a dozen of the standard rice cakes to go along with those sour cream and chive ones. I think I had this on the table before, but I didn't say anything about it. I bought 2 packs of the plain wraps. There's still some left here, and they haven't been eating them as much lately, so I just grabbed 2 packs of those. I did grab some of the chili flakes. These are the same ones that I had used last time. I used a different sort for this batch. I think it tasted all right, but they're the ones that I used last time. A couple of vegetable oils and a rice bran oil for my high temp stuff. A whole bunch of Oreos. They were half price, or 2 for $4 or whatever they were. I just go and I grab 2 or 4 of each flavor and then just bring it home. The kids like to crush these up in their Ninja Creamy ice creams. I also grabbed this. I actually grabbed this mostly for myself. Garlic parmesan pretzel sticks. They sounded really nice, and I bought that the dill pickle dip, and I thought that these would probably be really nice with that. So that was just an impulse buy. I grabbed 2 of the instant mashed potatoes that we bought last month. We have used these in a few different things, and Sonnet just likes it as straight instant mashed potato, and they don't always keep the same things, so I grabbed a couple more. We've got a 10 kilo of plain flour that Sonnet is practicing weightlifting with, and we got our hot dog rolls, which we always get for hot dog night, and then we use them over the next few days. I did buy a box of beef trim. It has gone up, the same as the mince. It is $12.39 a kilo now, but it still is convenient for me to have the beef trim and be able to mince it as I want to use it, rather than buying pre-minced beef. So that was the next table. All right, almost last table. Fruit and veg. We got these lovely red pears. They're really firm, but they're ripe. I wasn't sure that they were, but they are. Mum and I had them. They're really, really nice. They're just a really firm texture, and these were only $10 a box. So I got 2 boxes of those. I got a box of grapes. I can't remember what I paid for it, but these were apparently Woolworths rejects or Coles rejects or something, because they're just, I don't know why, but they look good to me. I've tasted some, they taste fine, so we got them cheap. I got just a bag of lemons because I just don't really have time to process a whole lot, but I wanted to make some fresh lemon curd. It is lemon season, so they will be nice and juicy. And a couple of kilos of avocados just for fresh eating, because we have all those avocados in the freezer, and these were just $1.50 a kilo, so I grabbed a couple of kilos. I got a box of candy melons. The box cost me $15, I think. Some of them have some spots on them, some of them are perfect. So it was just a whole box of candy melons that they had sitting there waiting to go. I grabbed just some Cos Hearts from Costco for fresh eating for the first, week, less than that, and just a container of mushrooms just for Darryl to have for fresh eating. A box of oranges. The kids do not really like mandarins. Mandarins are on special as well, but they prefer oranges. So the oranges, I think, were only $1 a kilo. So I got just whatever fit in a box. I grabbed a box of bananas. I think they were $30 or something. They weren't overly cheap, weren't overly expensive. They're very green, but that works well because the kids can eat all the other fruit first and bananas afterwards. I got a couple of bok choy bunches. These were just like 2 for $3, and they are purely for making that chicken chow mein crispy noodle that I really like. I got 3 big drumhead cabbages for okonomiyaki or whatever else I want to use it. The flats of strawberries were, so it's 4 kilos per flat, and it was $16 per flat. So I got 2 of those. I didn't want too many because I just don't have time to process them, but we still have a fair bit of frozen fruit in the fridge. And they're winter strawberries, so they could be really nice, but they might not be either. We'll see how they go. Just a bag of cucumbers from Costco because I forgot to get any at the fruit and veg shop, and a box of apples. However many ended up being in the box, she just weighed them and charged them accordingly. I think they were $2 a kilo or $2.99 a kilo or something for these red apples. And then I got just some zucchini, just a box full of zucchini. They were $2 a kilo, just whatever went in the box. I also have a whole box of broccoli. They're normally an 8 kilo box. I think it was $24, I can't remember, but a box of broccoli. They had some cheap tomatoes. These are very firm tomatoes, which is great for canning purposes. So 2 boxes of these were only $10 each per box. I also got 2 big things of toilet paper, which I hadn't shown you yet. And I think that's all that's spread out here on this table. I did also buy a 20 kilo bag of washed potatoes. They were really cheap. A 10 kilo bag of onions to make some more onion jam. And I forgot to get carrots at the fruit and veg, so I grabbed 4 of the bags of carrots from Costco. One other thing I'm going to have to sort out now to go in the freezer is chicken wings. There was a box, and they were $2.99 a kilo, so it was a big box for $48. So I'm going to split these up and stick them in bags in the freezer tonight because it is leaking everywhere. I did forget to mention these too. So they were on the back bench. I am coming in to do my breakdown of costs and stuff, but I wanted to show you. So I have bought this MILLMERRAN set before for the kids, and we've got most of it. A couple of the plates have been broken, but we got most of it. But this was marked down $20 off. So I think they're $40. Normally it was only $20. So I grabbed another one while it was on clearance because we can add it to the ones that we've already got. And MILLMERRAN works really well out here. It's convenient. I don't think it's quite exactly the same pattern, but it's the same brand, and it was a blue and white pattern. So and then I also grabbed these. These were not on special. They were $30, but there's 6 bowls in there, which means it's only 5 bowls each. And these are just, I just really wanted them. I know every now and again there's something that I just decide to buy. Let me pull one out to show you. I'm on display, and I really liked the look of them, and we are a bit low on bowls at the moment, so I felt like it was a good time to buy them. They are these gorgeous soup bowl type things with little handles, and I really liked them. So I grabbed this set of 6 for myself as well. Good soup bowls, just, I don't know, I just really liked them. And every now and again, I grab something like that. So I forgot to show these. So now I'm going to put this away for the moment, and I've got my breakdown of costs and stuff, and we'll have a chat about good and bad, the accommodation and that sort of stuff, and then I'll be able to get this video uploading. All right, so first up, thank you heaps to All Powers for that, the power generator unit. I'll put details in the description about it, and I'll put some details up on the screen about it when I was showing it off. It worked perfectly. It was fantastic. We had been debating what we were going to do and not really sure how we were going to work it and stuff like that, and what we were going to do with accommodation wise and everything else, and that solved a problem. We didn't end up having to rely on it as such because of the accommodation we chose, but it was definitely, it took the ease off when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, because the Coles cheeses and stuff are really our preferred. So in saying that, in regards to the accommodation was lovely. The place that we stayed was very well set up. The bathroom was amazing. Everything was clean. It was easy. You know, everything in the accommodation was accessible and everything else. Highly recommend as somewhere if it suits you, though. The problem was that it was a little bit out of the way, which is fine. We knew that, but it's a new estate. It had electric security gates that didn't appear to have any way to open from the outside. So we had to contact the person who lived there, the Airbnb host, to be able to even open the front gate. And I got a bit flustered trying to figure out, well, if the gate's closed, am I supposed to? I didn't know what to do. So that was not great in amongst the shopping's already hard. I'm not very good with change or changing my routine or going places I don't know or things like that. And so I was already a bit flustered by the whole process. And then to pull up, there was nowhere to turn around if we missed the driveway either, because I suck at reversing that trailer. I had spoken to her previously before we booked it about needing to be able to turn the ute and the trailer around. I thought I had been clear about the fact that I needed to be able to drive it around. I couldn't reverse it because reversing the trailer is not my forte. It was a 5-acre property, so I thought that would be fine. I thought I'd been pretty clear. There was a miscommunication, and I think it was expected that I was going to be pulling in and reversing it. And things like that. And in the end, I had to drive across what was a fairly pristine lawn around a sand pit to drive out. And I felt really horrible about it. She approved it and that, but it felt horrible. The premises, as I said, was lovely, but it was joined to their house with only 2 doors being locked between where we were and where they were. And I know that's pretty common practice in a lot of the videos that I've seen of American stuff and that, but we could hear them and their kids and stuff, which made us sit there and almost whisper because we were worried about being too loud to them too, and that's on us as well. But it just, yeah. So the motel was probably better actually, because we didn't buy food as such either, knowing there was a kitchen. We thought we could get something to cook there, but then we didn't end up doing it. And then we thought, well, we'll just Uber in, except that there was a private gate and it was their house. And yeah, we ended up cooking what we'd already had. And it didn't make anything go smoother. If anything, it just created a bit more stress. And the motel was actually simpler because we went to the pub for dinner, and it was just a motel room. We didn't have to worry about anyone else or anything else, and, that sort of thing. It was just that the parking is not great at the motel. So we've been discussing anyway what we might like to do, and we're thinking that what we might do for the next one, so it'll probably be about an 8-week gap, I'd say. And what we might do for the next one is that Mum and I will leave here at, say, 6:30 in the morning, and we will drive down and we will go to the fruit and veg and to Costco, and that's it in the one day, the fruit and veg, the butcher and Costco, and drive home. And then we might just do click and collects for Coles and Woolworths and a list for Aldi in Toowoomba, and send Darryl the next day or the day before or whatever to do that with a kid or two to help him do that. I think that'll be doable. I think that it still might mean that I need to organise trips at other times, whether it's just to Toowoomba or whatever, especially around Christmas and birthdays and things like that. I do a lot of shopping online, but at the same time, it's nice to be able to go into shops to do some of that kind of stuff too. But we'll see how we go. There has been a lot of just stress and new and trying to fit everything in lately, and I don't think the Airbnb was the way to go. It created more unknowns in the trip than it did help the trip to work, if that makes sense. It's different when Mum was down there, so I really missed that because it was nice. So I'd stay there for a couple of nights. It'd be a break. I'd get a relaxation time of evenings because we'd just sit on her couch and veg. We'd order food in, or I'd cook something in her kitchen, but it was, we didn't worry about it. It was her own place, and it was great. But the staying overnight somewhere else is now not. It's just not beneficial in any way. It makes the trip feel longer without giving you the break between, and it's not working. So we'll figure that out before the next one, but that was the idea. So this particular trip, I have my normal breakdown. I'll put it up on the screen like I normally do. July shop, we're going to work on this being for about 8 weeks. I'm not sure exactly what our timing is going to be, but we're going to work on it for being about 8 weeks. We talked about making things shorter, but then with the stress of the way it's going, and I also had to pay $2.33 a litre for diesel for the ute at 1.2, so the fuel was pretty expensive. As always, consumables are included in the groceries, like toilet paper and dish detergent and things like that, but I did pull some of the non-consumables out of the groceries, and anything that is strictly Mum's bought purely for her, that she pulled out, though standard stuff stays in because I'm planning these around 8 people, which includes her, because I do provide 90% of her meals just because I can and it's easy. So what we spent $522.60 at Coles. We spent $337.44 at Woolworths, $317.32 at Aldi, $313.43 at the Mega Meats, $361.87 at the Fruit and Veg, and $1,935.10 at Costco, and that's less a couple $100 worth of incidentals. The like the air fryer popcorn, prawns, and all that sort of stuff that is completely just, and the new blanket that I bought myself, and the new crockery and things like that. But it still includes all consumables like toilet papers and all that sort of stuff. So if we break it down like I normally do, again, I'll put the graphic up on the side. It ends up being, for over 8 weeks, for the 8 of us, it ends up being $473.47 a week, which ends up being $59.18 per person per week, or $8.45 per person per day, or $2.82 per person per meal if you break it down to 3 meals a day. As I always say, the boys eat far more than 3 meals a day, and Darryl and I generally only eat 2. But the 3 meals a day gives me a measuring stick. It allows me to look back on the previous shops and see where I was, and it allows me to see how we're running money-wise. Obviously, we spend more at the grocery shops at the moment because we have more disposable income to do so, and I enjoy being able to buy a lot of the extras. We do try and limit any purchasing outside of what we buy, especially if I'm buying the extras during the shopping trip, but I do budget through, it's like $50 a fortnight or something is on my cash flow as incidentals, being potentially lettuce and tomato if we're having hamburgers later in the 8 weeks, or a couple of bottles of soft drink if we're having some sort of, pizza night or whatever else, or things like that. So I do have some on my cash flow to allow for that, but I count that, and it goes under groceries on my cash flow, but it's more entertainment than anything else. That sort of stuff is more entertainment, and I know a lot of people don't include their takeaways and things like that as their entertainment stuff, so we don't do takeaways and things like that, so those bits and pieces are that. So it's a pretty transparent, clear snapshot of how much we spend on food, because I like it that way. that's for my benefit more than anyone else's, is that I want to know exactly what I'm spending, how the food is lasting and things like that. We still have some meat left over from the half a cow, though I counted all that pricing into like 3 lots of shopping. This shopping doesn't include that as a dollar per value because it was already paid for in the last 3 shopping periods, I think it was. But we do still have some half a cow left, and we have very minimal of all that bulk chicken that I got from the Golden Cockerel outlet. That's the other thing about not having accommodation and not going, is that it would be really nice to do one of those days. And so maybe we'll plan to go down at like 6:30 on a day to go to Capalaba and check out Golden Cockerel, the Golden Circle, the all that sort of stuff, and plan that, and then stay somewhere, and then plan the next day just to do the fruit and veg and Costco and stuff. Maybe we'll do that at some point, but I don't know. I do. We have a little bird here. I don't know if I can get him on. No, he's gone. It's a little tiny sparrow type bird, and they've decided that the little circles that are empty in the, let me see, I think he just flew back up. No. We have these little circles that were downlights in this second-hand roofing, and there's this little sparrow that keeps on going into the little space, and I'm wondering if he's trying to look at building, it is trying to build a nest there. Because it's up there all the time at the moment, cleaning out some of that styrofoam. I see it fall on the ground. Anyway, yes, I do wish that I had the opportunity to go back to the chicken outlet and things like that. But that creates, like, it's something that you have to do. You have to have the day for, because it impacts everything else you do that day, because you just don't know how long it's going to take. So yeah. Don't know. We will see. I'll keep you updated as we figure out exactly how we're moving forward with what we're doing. But that was the groceries for this month and the trip. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.